Myron Metcalf here on Countdown to Kickoff does many things well. Yeah. He's got a great laugh. Well, he's a nice personality. He doesn't do good reads or come in and out of breaks, but he does add a lot of joy. But he also says maybe the worst thing of all time. And if you didn't hear the last segment, he said 6 teams can win the Super Bowl. One of them is not the Chiefs. And the phone lines have lit up with people ready to tell you you're wrong, Myron. I'm going to give these people a chance to tell you you're incorrect, and you have to counter their point, okay? I'm going to give them each 20 seconds to give their point. You let them talk, and then, Myron, you counter it. You ready to go?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Let's go to Keegan in Portland. Go, Keegan.
Oh, Keegan Peel.
Hey, let's go. Keegan in Portland here. Yeah, what's up?
Hey.
You're saying that they're not the juggernaut of years past, but last year they had, 11 wins in the season, and you probably would have thought that they weren't the juggernaut last year, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. And you're saying they only should deserve 10 wins this year. Even if they only had 10 wins and they got in the playoffs, I bet they'd still win the Super Bowl because they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So I don't see what's different than the years past that you're saying they're different now. But they have 15
all right, Keegan,
now,
there you go. What's your response, Byron?
First off, I've never heard of anyone named Keegan beyond Keegan and Peel. So
Keegan Murray plays in the NBA, played for Iowa.
True, that's Keegan. To me, this has been, not that same Patrick Mahomes. This hasn't been the same guy. Hasn't been the overwhelming presence. 11 picks today, 14 last year. Hasn't been as effective.
So he's had less picks this year than he did last year.
Well, we still got another game. But I also just think
4 picks.
He's not the dominant force he has been. Okay. And they have won a lot of games that were not the result of Mahomes. They were last-second, errors by the opposing team. Gotcha. They've won on luck in many games.
He's not as dominant as he's been, but he has 3 fewer picks.
And this is the luckiest team in the NFL. That's the problem.
The luckiest team. All right, so that was a terrible argument. Linda in South Carolina. Go ahead, Linda.
Hey, man, I just like what you're saying, Myron. I hope you included the Bills there in your top 6.
I did.
I'm going to tell you this. They're going to choke.
The Bills.
Not the Bills, the Chiefs.
Thank you.
Why are they going to choke, Linda?
Because they have had too many close games, and luck goes so far.
But they had close games. They had close games last year, Linda, and then they still won them in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I'm personally involved in this with my Bills fandom. I can't choose anything else.
But you were personally involved last year, and they came into your stadium and whipped you.
And that shouldn't happen.
God, I hate you for saying that.
Well, I mean, it's just a fact, Linda. I didn't do it. I mean, you can't get mad at me. I mean, if it's 50 degrees outside, Linda, and I tell you it's 50 degrees, you can't get mad at me for saying the actual fact.
She can. I understand why she's mad at you. That's not, you're talking about her team.
But, Linda, you can't be mad at facts.
I think you can be. I think the reality to me is this is not the overwhelming force. Last year was a team that didn't look great, and then, yes, they figured out in the playoffs. But I think that was more of Baltimore and Buffalo not playing to their potential.
Sounds like Linda gets mad at facts.
In a lot of ways.
I can't imagine getting mad at facts. Well, facts is, as this kid I went to middle school with used to say when a teacher would question him, his name was Rodney. You know what Rodney would say, Myron? He would go, facts is facts. And facts is facts. Yeah, and when facts is facts, you can't argue with them. Let's go to Zach in Kansas City. Zach.
You said Myron's been drinking. I think he drank a whole bottle of NyQuil and walked all the way through last year.
Yes.
Truthfully, you're sitting here
last year wasn't great
because Baltimore and Buffalo played bad. We also had to beat the 49ers, who were better than both of them in the Super Bowl. Also,
You played Miami, and it was like 40 degrees below zero in the first game of the playoffs. They weren't a great team coming into the playoffs. Certainly not as good as the 2 previous Super Bowl teams that Patrick Mahomes led.
But they beat all these
teams.
They did. They won.
I'm giving them credit. In the postseason, I'm giving them credit in the postseason.
But you just said it wasn't that great a year. They won the
regular
Super Bowl.
season is what I said. Regular season. Obviously, they finished strong. This is different. This is a team that legitimately is winning games based on mistakes in the final 2 minutes of close games, sometimes against bad teams. Like, this is the same team a couple of weeks ago that nearly left Carolina with a loss. Like, this is a Kansas City team that...
Did they win?
in past years would have won that game by 3 touchdowns.
Didn't the Bills barely win against the Patriots
by
at home?
3
Didn't the Patriots
touchdowns.
have the ball with a chance to win at the end at Buffalo?
But I just said in the previous segment, Buffalo's floor is lower than maybe people believe. So I understand that. You got to admit that about Kansas City. You can't just look at the lucky wins and go, well, no, that's skill. It's not skill.
They have the all-time NFL record for one-score wins in a row.
The all-time winning record for luck.
Eugene is in Kansas City. Go ahead, Eugene. Eugene.
Quick, 20 seconds. I got 20 seconds. Look at the last 3 games. They've came out of their shell. Yes, they've had some close games, but Chris Jones will be back here in a week or 2. Pacheco got back. Their offense is actually stronger. Mahomes had his best game the last game against Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And 15-1 is no joke.
Preach it.
But it is a joke.
Thing is
should have lost to Vegas.
Yeah,
should have lost to Carolina.
Their defense is why they're winning.
Lost to Buffalo. Should have lost to Denver. Should have lost in overtime to Tampa Bay. But Todd Bowles didn't know what he was doing as a head coach.
Tell me which of those games they did lose.
Okay,
remind me.
But I can point to you and say why they won those games.
Yeah, they won.
Should have lost Cincinnati early this season. So I don't know. He's talking about coming out of their shell. Well, isn't a Super Bowl juggernaut never supposed to be in a shell in the first place?
I mean, they are 15-1. They're going to have one of the 10 greatest regular seasons of all time.
I think they're a 10-win team.
10-win team. Well, then why does the record say 15?
Because they've had some lucky finishes. And that's okay to admit.
Marcus is in Missouri. Marcus, go ahead. Marcus. All right, Kane is in Kansas City. Quickly.
I should have been content to just being a white guy trying around having Myron sell me something on the drops. But then I had to call in. So just know this. The preseason is now over. The yada, yada, yada. The real Chiefs are here. Sit back, take 21 days off, handle your business, and the only thing they're going to be choking on is another Super Bowl celebration dinner.
There you go. Choking on a Super Bowl in Kansas City. Myron Metcalf next.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and I just wanted to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday and a happy new year. And a reminder to tune into Unsportsmanlike every weekday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped make it more convenient to treat than it is right now. Thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
It's Harry Lyles Jr., today's host of the College Game Day podcast. On the latest episode, Pete Thamel, Heather Dinich, and I talk about the 12-team playoff and the games we're looking forward to in the quarterfinal. Tune into College Game Day wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm telling you, the ACC is special.
For all the traditions and new additions.
Cooper flying high.
For all the iconic.
Watch this, the corner. Watch the explosion.
And electric.
Hits another. Oh, my goodness.
Come for it all. ACC Men's College Basketball. All season long on ACCN.
No days off when you love what you're doing. Sundays are the best day of the week because you're just one day away from First Take returning Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
The last Monday Night Football of 2024 is upon us. Jared Goff and the Lions are out for redemption as they head to San Francisco for an NFC Championship rematch.
Who had that on the bingo card? Touchdown Lions!
As Brock Purdy and the 49ers look to make a statement and take down Detroit once again.
He's gone! Touchdown 49ers!
Lions 49ers. Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ABC.
Amber and Ian.
Would that 31-yard field goal, as it hits the uprights, have bounced through the uprights if that kicker was in a New York Jets uniform? And it bounces in if he's a Chiefs kicker. Because that's the black magic that the Chiefs somehow are practicing. I can't figure it out, but I'm telling you, that's how it's working.
Amber and Ian, weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on SiriusXM Channel 80. This is SportsCenter.
It's the home stretch of the NFL regular season. I'm Chris Smith. All 4 division titles in the NFC are on the line in Week 17, while the only division still up for grabs in the AFC is the North, where the Ravens lead by a game with Week 18 still remaining. And ESPN's Andrew Hawkins says if Baltimore nabs the division, Lamar Jackson gets another MVP.
We're watching Lamar Jackson do things we didn't even think were possible at the quarterback position. To throw for 4,000 yards, over 40 touchdowns, as well as 850 yards rushing, he has a real opportunity to throw for 4,000 and rush for 1,000 and only have 4 interceptions to boot. He's playing at a level of football, again, we had not seen, we didn't think was possible. And if he continues that in the final week of the season to solidify and put a stamp on the fact that they're going to be division champs, it's going to be hard not to give it to Lamar Jackson.
Jackson has 37 pass TDs and just 4 INTs this season as he looks to join Aaron Rodgers as the only players with 40 pass TDs and 5 or fewer INTs in a season. Speaking of Rodgers, he is just 1 passing TD shy of 500 for his career as he looks to become just the 5th QB in NFL history to reach that mark, joining Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre. Rodgers will have wide receiver Devontae Adams, who is expected to play against the Bills, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Coverage of the Bills and Jets is underway on select ESPN radio stations. Schefter also reporting Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors is expected to play versus the Colts, but Packers receiver Christian Watson not expected to play against the Vikings due to his knee injury. In the college ranks, Cal running back Jay Knott announced that he will return to school for his senior season.
Hey, what's up? Aaron Goldhammer coming up Monday on Sportsmanlike. We are getting closer and closer to the NFL playoffs, but we're going to tell you which contenders we believe in the least. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
To kickoff on ESPN Radio.
We are 2 hours into the Countdown to Kickoff show. Matt Jones, Myron Metcalf. You missed the beginning. I'm playing hurt, a little under the weather today. My voice. Yeah, I'm sick. Is that all right? But I wasn't going to miss it. Yeah. Unlike you, who takes every chance to go on various play adventures. I answer the bell, so I came in. So we got 1 hour to go, trying to struggle through, and then keep going. We're going to get back to phones here in a minute because Myron made the insane comment that the Chiefs can't win the Super Bowl.
I didn't say
but 6 other teams can. But Eric Moody is ESPN's fantasy football and gambling analyst. This is the championship game for many fantasy football leagues. And Eric, 6 games have already taken place. So you're in a very unique situation if you still have spots to fill or something to happen. So tell me, going into fantasy finals Sunday, what are the things you're most looking at, and what should players, if they have a person on their roster, what should they watch out for?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I'm looking out for is who my opponent has on their roster, because that's going to determine whether you need to start players who are going to give you a high floor, or if you're going to need to start players who give you a very high ceiling in order to compete. And we've obviously had some big performances for Week 17 so far. Like even looking at like Ladd McConkey like yesterday. I'm like, that's the kind of performance that's really going to propel teams to championships. So I would just look at, do I need upside or do I need a high floor? And then that's where I can come in and help answer these questions to really guide these teams to a championship. So what about you? Are you playing in a championship game this week?
No, I'm in a seventh place game, which is a very important part of a league, going for seventh place, Myron. Yeah. And I actually had McConkey and T. Higgins, Eric, so I feel pretty good going into the final day.
All right, there you go. T. Higgins was another guy who went gangbusters last night. So, we'll see. So, yeah, I got to help some people here. We got to get to the questions. I've got to answer as many questions.
Well, we didn't ask for fantasy questions because the phone lines are full of people being mad at Myron. So you're going to have to probably give advice in the app. Yeah, because Myron just says stupid stuff, Eric. You have to understand. Tell Eric what you said.
I started by saying, Eric, well, great to have you on. Started with the idea that I'm never going to vote against NFL history. No teams won 3 in a row. So that's why Kansas City, in part, is off my list of teams that I think will win the Super Bowl. I also think they've been a lucky team. I think they're closer to a 10-win team than a 15-win team. And now everybody's mad at me because you can't say anything about Kansas City. Oh, no. So that's kind of what it is.
So Kansas City fans will come after you if you talk
they will. And they can all fight, too. So I do get a little concerned about that. I don't want any problems, but it's just my opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me ask you, Eric, I know you also do some on the gambling side. Is there a prop bet today that you particularly like? I knew yesterday going into the Bengals game, it might be Higgins' last game in Cincinnati, so I bet him to score a touchdown. I wish I'd bet more. He scored 3. Do you have one you like today?
Yeah, there's quite a few that I like, but one that really keeps kind of calling out to me is Jahmyr Gibbs. I know on ESPN Bet, they've got Gibbs for 100 or more rushing yards. Last time I checked, it was at plus 115. And he's been great this year. He's averaged 5.5 yards per carry. You got Monty, who's out. He's sidelined. And Gibbs saw 23 carries last week. And I think he's expected to get a ton of touches this week. And the 49ers have struggled against the run. So I do like Gibbs, 100 or more rushing yards. That's on ESPN Bet right now that you can bet on.
Moody, you do fantasy football. I know you do fantasy basketball. You do betting. Do you fix cars too? Like, what other jobs you got, man? That's a lot.
I do a little voice work too. I keep trying to work something out so I can get like a cameo, like in the next Avengers movie, with the Disney connection. So
what's
I'm
your voice?
Renaissance, man.
What's your best
I can
voice?
Do it all.
What's your best voice? Like, what do you mean? What's your best voice?
Well, I was actually just kind of kidding on the voice acting.
Okay, I see it though.
I could do like a documentary. It's like, well, here we go.
Can I tell you who's a good voice analyst? Eric, I don't think Myron sometimes is asked to drive, and he's not good at it. And he puts on a different voice.
Stop saying that to people, man.
He puts on a different voice when he does it. Let's play the Myron voice over here, Nick, for us again.
No, don't say that.
Myron and I will debate it next, but first, Myron has this word from our friends at Vivid Seats.
Does the college football overtime rule need to change? I'm sorry. Yeah, that's me, right? Does the college football overtime rule need to change? But first, Myron.
See, Eric, that's a voiceover right there. Like, completely change the way your normal voice is in order to sell a product.
I'm selling stuff, right? Like, when you sell stuff, that's how you talk, right?
Yeah, you got to get that vocal inflection in. I don't think it was that bad. I don't.
No, he sits there. Here, I'm gonna do this is my Myron Metcalf voiceover. Hey, everybody, this is Myron Metcalf, and we're here for Vivid Seats.
You just being ridiculous.
Let's go to Kevin in New Orleans. He has a question for Eric. Go ahead, Kevin.
I've never done that.
I'm in the unfortunate position of Trevor Hubbard being out today, and I have to start Madison or Abdullah in a PPR.
Okay. Yeah, I know with Hubbard going down, I think that shocked a lot of people. I actually like Madison and Abdullah in this matchup. So I do prefer Abdullah, but you look at like week 16, like this group both played a similar number of snaps and touches. You got some Sear McCormick on IR. So I think they're both great flex options, but I do like Abdullah over Madison.
There you go. Abdullah over Madison with the Chuba Hubbard being out. 888-SAY-ESPN. Eric Moody, ESPN's betting analyst. Thank you for your time, and I do think you have a future in voiceover work. Either way, if you're going head-to-head with Myron, I know you're going to get it. So good luck on your final day of the fantasy season.
So I do have a future in voiceover work.
You do, certainly over Myron. And I think you also have a future in betting and fantasy. We appreciate your time.
Let's go to my voice, man. This is all I have. This is
I know, but that
is
says a lot.
Big part of how I make a living, man.
I know, and we need to keep working on it. Jeff in Missouri, who's next? Go ahead.
That's just that big part, but yeah.
This is just crazy talk. Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, old Travis Kelce,
We've shored up our line problems. Let's go to the other side. Since Omenahue's back, Kansas City is something at the rate they were last year.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and they still, with everything you said, they've had a lot of lucky wins. Can you admit that, as a Kansas City fan, there have been some lucky wins? Can you admit that?
Yeah,
okay.
I can admit that. But,
okay.
But if you think anybody's going to stop them from getting
in
through.
Your garden right now? Jeff, what are you doing? It sounds like you're moving around. Are you planting tomatoes? What are you doing?
Nope, just relaxing.
Well, you're not relaxing because your phone is not moving.
No, you're not. Are you doing laundry? Like,
what are you doing?
I don't know. I'm on a cell phone, man.
Yeah. Are you on a cell phone where you got to put minutes on it, or are you one with like an actual a plan? Like what kind of phone are you on, man?
Hey, Myron, dang.
That's right. Shoo, Myron Day. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Shoo, Myron Day. Bob in Kansas City. What do you got, Bob?
I got a lifetime of a Chiefs fan since they moved here, including in the 2 and 14 years. But I'm an accountant, Myron. I can count to 15 and 1. You talk about luck, but winners win. And I'll say this, if either Tooney or Humphreys are just a below-average left tackle, you can kiss my Super Bowl ring.
Oh! Bam!
Well, here's the Bob. Here's the problem about Bob. You don't actually have a Super Bowl ring. They do. That's number one, right? So there's no Super Bowl ring.
Bob,
to
I
kiss.
think, knocks it out of the park. He's an accountant. He can count to 15, and you can kiss his Super Bowl ring, Byron.
Well, he doesn't have one personally. That's number
I
one.
think he just.
I think these Kansas City fans.
They could give me one for this call. You never know.
Hey, Bob, can I be honest with you? I know a bunch of y'all. Like, I've been to Kansas City many times. Got a lot of friends down there. You all were more nervous this season than you're willing to admit. Things have ended well for y'all. But there were a lot of stretches this season where you all were not confident that this team's going to get to the Super Bowl. Is that accurate or not?
I think it has something to do with the left tackle.
Yeah, but is that true or not? I get that. But is that true or not, Bob?
3 out of 5 in the last 2.
See, Bob, you're not answering the question. Is it true or not? Were you all, in many stretches this season, not confident in this Kansas City team making it to the Super Bowl?
We were not as unconfident as we were last Christmas Day.
You didn't answer the question. The semantics of it. Just answer the question. He wouldn't answer the question.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate the call. It makes perfect sense to me. He was not as unconfident as he was last year. A lot of negatives there, but I think it works out. We come back. There's a lot of bad games this week. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, the NFL gave all our good games before, and they made Sunday a big bag of So we're going to go through these games, especially the early ones. And Myron's going to try to convince you why you should watch them. That's next here on Sunday Mornings with Matt Myron.
This is ESPN Radio.
Kimberly A. Martin is here.
Why am I not on this radio show?
You literally are right now.
On your radio, your computer, your smart speaker, or on the ESPN app.
Carlin versus Joe. We're aiming for good. Carlin versus Joe.
We're everywhere you are. This is ESPN Radio.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Greeny.
This is one that I really find curious. This doesn't feel like something that an organization of this magnitude does. It feels beneath them.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Evan, Kenzie, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Let me be clear about one thing. Because we've moved the goalpost with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and rightfully so because of what we've seen from Russell Wilson. If they are one and done in the postseason, that would be underachieving for this team. And we haven't been able to say that about Mike Tomlin coach teams in the past half decade. And that's why I think it has to be a discussion moving forward.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
No days off when you love what you're doing. Sundays are the best day of the week because you're just one day away from First Take returning Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
I believe it's Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and then Joe Montana. Patrick Mahomes is the most gifted quarterback that we've ever seen in the game. He really is. And I don't believe it's going to take 5 or 6 or 7 Super Bowls for him to eclipse Brady.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. It's bowl season on ESPN Radio. 25 bowl games, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
Touchdown! The electricity, the atmosphere.
Caught at the 5 and into the end zone!
This is why you do what you do.
Bowl season continues tomorrow with the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl. Coverage begins at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN.
It's the beauty of college football.
Yes, the boys are back in town. It is Countdown to Kickoff here on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. He's Myron Metcalf. I'm Matt Jones. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fix your business needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Playing a little under the weather today, but we've done a good job. We've had our good guy Herm Edwards. We've had Eric Moody. We've also had Myron fighting with Kansas City Chiefs fans who have just completely bodied him and owned him over his take that the Chiefs can't win the Super Bowl. What?
They've been mad. Yeah, no, they've been mad.
And they've also beaten you. But that doesn't mean Myron doesn't have a chance to come back. One of the things he's gotten better on during the year, was really bad to start, but has gotten better, is selling us on the games that on paper don't look like they would be very entertaining. So let's do it again. It is now time to go no huddle.
It's time to go around the National Football League.
No huddle. I'll call the play from the line. Defense will never know what hit them.
This is the No Huddle.
Ron Richmond, 96 double.
The rules here are very simple. I give you a game. You tell me why the fans out there should watch it, even though on paper they would think they have no interest. What's up first?
Okay.
Titans at Jaguars.
I think this is difficult for anybody to make a statement about two teams who have become irrelevant, obviously, in the playoff picture. I think you watch this because you're probably watching Doug Peterson's last game as head coach, and the Jags are probably going to hit a reset here. I think you're also watching the Titans, who are probably going to get a quarterback in the offseason. So I think you're looking at both teams and going, okay, who sticks around? Who lasts next season? And are there any salvageable players and pieces from both of these rosters that you can take into next season with perhaps a new coach for Jacksonville and a new quarterback for the Tennessee Titans?
All right, so you started it by saying, I don't think this is going to be one somebody want to watch. That's like going up to somebody and going, you don't want this car, do you? Like, you need to, that's not a good way. Have you ever been to a car dealership and somebody comes up and goes, you don't really want this, do you? But since you're standing here. Yeah, exactly. So let's try this one more time.
He also said Doug Peterson's last game. They play next week too, Myron.
Yeah, they also play next week.
That's
so
true.
I don't unless you think he's going to get fired this week.
One of his.
So let's just do this again. Like it's like I want you to act like you're actually trying to sell me on this game, not like you don't want to eat this meal, do you? It ain't good. I want you to sell this like you. Your job depends. I'm sure Chris Myers is calling this game. So do Chris Myers a favor and make this happen. Let's go again.
Titans at Jaguars.
Well, obviously, these are two teams that are trying to get on the right path going into next season. The Titans will have a new quarterback probably this offseason. You have to see what does that new quarterback have around him. I think there are Tennessee Titans players playing to kind of keep their jobs in a lot of ways. But the Jacksonville Jaguars have a guy named Brian Thomas Jr. If you haven't heard of him, he set rookie records for yards, receptions, touchdowns for that franchise. You're looking at a future star in the NFL potentially if they can get the right people around him. You're watching this game for Brian Thompson Jr. and the promise that he's shown so far.
That was excellent. That might have been your best one of the year. Seriously, like on a scale of 1 to 100, that was a 99. That's the best you have ever done, and the difference was focus and energy and all. Do you realize how good you were right there?
I don't know. No, it felt good. I don't know it was that good.
You could have sold me a Pinto with that car, with that sales ability. So I think you're on. Let's keep that energy going for the next one.
Raiders at Saints.
There's a guy named Mike Ditka that a lot of people know for who he was as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. What they don't know is that he was also a really, really good player in the NFL. And this guy named Brock Bowers with the Las Vegas Raiders, who with 10 receiving yards has a chance to pass Mike Ditka's record for a rookie tight end in receiving yards. Mike Ditka set the record with 1,961 yards. 1,076 yards. Brock Bowers can surpass that with 10 yards in this game. So Brock Bowers could be a generational tight end. He's playing to pass Ditka today for a Raiders team that might give him an elite quarterback next year, and Brock Bowers could become a Hall of Famer if that transition works out.
I'm still going to give you a round of applause there. I still think that was pretty good. I like the Brock Bowers. Didn't know where you were going with Ditka, but you made it work. Brock Bowers is special. You're right about that. I think you're 2 for 2 once I gave you a false start on the first one. Let's go to the next one.
Colts at Giants.
Let's keep the energy rolling.
Well, there's two reasons you want to watch a game like this. Obviously, the Colts are still alive in the playoff picture. A lot of things have to happen. Anthony Richardson being out is a challenge for that team. But you're watching the Giants because this is a team that can help their odds in the NFL draft by losing. But you got a guy in Brian Daboll who maybe says, I might get fired. Who cares what they want? I'm going to keep winning. And I think that's why you're watching this. How does Brian Daboll and his team approach this? Does he do what's best for the team, or does he do what's best for Brian Daboll? So I think it's going to be interesting. Giants fans might be upset with a win because of what it does in the NFL draft. Brian Daboll, however, is saying that's the job that I was signed to do.
Pretty solid. Okay. I will note you said keep winning, and they've only won 2 games. So I'm not sure what the keep winning part of it is.
Keep winning.
Because they really haven't won at all.
Keep winning is there. Keep winning.
But nevertheless, you made 2 very good points. Okay. Can the Colts stay in the playoffs? The Giants, should they win? Will they win? I have to say you're 3 for 3. And if you don't screw this last one up, This may be the first time in the history of the no huddle that Myron gives a complete performance, a Kansas City Chiefs-esque performance in the no huddle. Will he be able to do it with this game?
Dolphins at Browns.
Well, you're watching this in part because the Miami Dolphins still have a slight chance of getting to the playoffs. Very low. But I think you're really watching this to see, is this Mike McDaniel's one of his last games, potentially? Everybody loved Mike McDaniel when he came into the NFL. He was the offensive guru. He was playing hip-hop in the locker room. He was dancing in practice. And everybody said, this is the guy. Now we're at a point where the Miami Dolphins, who spent a lot of money to try to be a contender, they're not going to make the playoffs most likely, and they certainly won't make it if they lose this game. So we could go from Mike McDaniel being the it coach maybe just 2 years ago to being the guy who is coaching for his job. I think that's why you're watching this game.
What about the Browns, the team they play?
You also have a guy in Kevin Stefanski that a lot of people think might be a guy who's coaching for his job as well. Deshaun Watson with a restructured deal. He's going to be their quarterback for the next couple of years. And the interesting thing is this. If Kevin Stefanski gets fired, there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to call him right away to be their head coach.
He's not getting fired. You're exactly right. He would be well liked. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass you on the last one. You're gonna be like the kid I have in my class who does pretty well, and then the exam just goes so. The final, I still pass him because I want him to move on. I want to give you a nice job. You gave 4 games with not a lot to do, and you actually were able to sell them pretty well. Are you proud of yourself and your performance?
I feel like I've come a long way. I mean, from the first round.
Yeah, no, you have come a long way. You were really, really bad at that at the beginning, but because you couldn't fake excitement, and now you're becoming like you're becoming like a host on QVC. You don't want these crappy products, right?
Yes.
But nevertheless, you have to act like the bedazzled sweaters are worth wearing, and that's what you do now, Mike.
They do great work. I don't know how they sell stuff all day like they do, but they're incredible.
You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a host on QVC. I would practice being a QVC host.
Really? Okay. What? That's an interesting dream. You know, some people are like, I want to be a doctor.
I was like, I can do the Quacker Factory. I was like, I would take products in my house and mimic selling them.
A steamer on QVC, okay.
Yeah, listen, we all have our dreams. I ended up on ESPN, but one of these days I'll get on QVC. You'll see it. Okay. We'll do more here next on ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike, and I just want to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday season and Happy New Year. And reminder, tune in to Unsportsmanlike every weekday morning starting at 6 right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T.
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermal, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
Greeny.
This is one that I really find curious. This doesn't feel like something that an organization of this magnitude does. It feels beneath them.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Central Division rivals clash on ESPN Hockey Night. Dallas.
Definitely a playoff team. There's no question about it.
And its stars.
Duchesne scores! Odger kept it out! Jason Robertson!
Travel to the Windy City to face Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks.
He's the heartbeat of this team.
Bedard with a shot, he scores!
That's hockey. ESPN Hockey Night presented by Expedia. Stars Blacked on ESPN.
Amber and Ian.
Lance Taylor, host of the Next Round Live, kind enough to join us.
Amber, it's been way too long you've been on this hiatus. Is maternity leave all that it is hyped up to be?
Well, I don't know what it's hyped up to be. It's very exhausting. I'll give you that. Maternity leave is one of those experiences where 2 months somehow feels like 20 years and 2 minutes all at the same time.
Amber and Ian, weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on Sirius XM Channel 80.
Buckle up and get ready for all the heart. College basketball better than ever. This is must-watch television and all the love.
The most electrifying players in the nation.
For all the moments.
My goodness, a show-stopping highlight.
And all we are. Come for it all. ACC Women's College Basketball. All season long on ACCN.
No days off when you love what you're doing. Sundays are the best day of the week because you're just one day away from First Take returning Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
SportsCenter.
A crucial Week 17 in the NFL. I'm Chris Smith. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni signaled that Kenny Pickett will get the start at QB against the Cowboys as Jalen Hurts continues to recover from a concussion. And ESPN's Jeremy Fowler says the Eagles are in good hands as they look to clinch the division with a win over Dallas or a Commanders loss.
Pickett's a quarterback that felt last March that he was going to be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers before he got traded. He was eager to show that he can still be that first-round talent that could get it done on a starter's level. So they're hopeful that Jalen Hurts can be back Week 18. Look, if they lock up the division this weekend, do they even need Hurts for Week 18? So all that's under consideration. It's possible Pickett will need to play 2 games here because Hurts is still in the early stages of that concussion protocol. But he's ready. The Eagles feel that Pickett is ready.
Since 2021, the Eagles are 45-16 in games that Hurts started, compared to just 1-3 without him. And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Jets wide receiver Devontae Adams is expected to play against the Bills as he looks to catch the 500th career passing touchdown from Aaron Rodgers, who is 1 TD pass away from that milestone. Coverage of the Bills and Jets is underway on select ESPN radio stations. Schefter also reporting that Dolphins QB Tua Tagovailoa, who is downgraded to doubtful due to a hip injury, is not expected to play against the Browns, so Tyler Huntley would get the start as Miami needs to win out and have the Broncos lose in Week 18 to clinch a playoff berth. And the Lakers have agreed to trade D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis, and 3 second-round picks to the Brooklyn Nets for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, according to ESPN's Sham Charania. In tennis, 4-time Grand Slam champ Naomi Osaka says she won't hang around in tennis if her results fail to match her high expectations.
Hey, what's up? Aaron Goldhammer here, and coming up Monday on Sportsmanlike, we're going to get you set for the quarterfinals of the college football playoff, which teams are going to be advancing, and who is going home. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
It is Countdown to Kickoff here on ESPN Radio. Matt Jones, Myron Metcalf, get ready for another big day of NFL football. Next to last week of the regular season, Kevin Clark. He is the host of the This Is Football podcast, and he hosts Game Day on ESPN Radio. It comes on right after us. You can hear it after we finish all of our very intelligent, thoughts on this show. Kevin, I'm glad to have you. I know you're a Miami grad, so 2 big things have happened with Miami. Larinaga, the basketball coach, quits mid-season, and Cam Ward quits mid-game. Is it just a university full of quitters? What's going on there?
Oh, wow. Starting out hot there. I like that. It's 2 separate things, and I think both are accepted now. And I was thinking about this last night. I'm not bothered by Cam Ward not playing the second half. There have been guys who have only done a couple of drives in bowl games. These are exhibitions, and they should be treated as such. I mean, I think, guys, the end of NFL teams asking about participation at all was the COVID year, where you had first-round picks who didn't even play in a full year, and no teams cared. There were only a couple of teams that even had questions about it, and we just kind of moved on. So the idea that, this opt-out trend really started with Christian McCaffrey. When was the last time anybody brought up Christian McCaffrey not playing in a bowl game as part of his great legacy? So I don't care about the Cam Ward thing. The Larinaga thing, I mean, frankly, I think he's done great things for Miami. I think they were losing a bunch, and he had to quit because I don't think there was a long runway for him at that school. He obviously been down for 2 years, and I think that the NIL stuff and all the stuff he said about the portal was almost incidental. It wasn't like Saban, where Saban was leaving after a great season and just said, you know what, I'm kind of done with this. This was, I think, kind of Jim Larinaga saying, I'm quitting because we're bad. Also, all this new stuff is a little too much for me.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit disingenuous with Larinaga. He obviously benefited from NIL, and then he kind of blasted it at the end. Lamar,
I think it's a little bit like Saban, right? Where it's like Saban goes to Congress right after he quits, and everybody knows, Alabama was using the portal and NIL and all that stuff. Everybody was saying, well, it's disingenuous that he did that. He shouldn't be arguing against it, whatever. I mean, for me, it's just like, it's a different job, and I can see this kind of being like, whatever. Like, sometimes when you're old, you don't want to adapt. So I know it comes off as disingenuous, but it's also, these guys are, either pushing 70 or over 70, and they just don't want they don't want to learn these new rules and learn the new way business is doing. I'm not gonna kill them for that.
They're over 70, and they've also made over $70 million. A lot of them. I think we can have a long conversation about that. Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen.
Yeah.
How should we make a decision about MVP? What should the criteria be? And based on that, who's the MVP?
Yeah, it's funny. Honestly, it's probably Lamar Jackson. And what's funny is that I had a couple people on my show this week, and all of them said, well, maybe the voters don't want to give Lamar Jackson a third MVP and Josh Allen have none. And I'm thinking, it's a little bit like Steve Nash in the mid-2000s, where they had to give him a second MVP because he was clearly the MVP and had a better season than the year before, and he was the MVP. And the thing I say, we're tired of this guy. Or, hey, you saw it in the 90s with Jordan, where it's like, hey, let's give somebody else an MVP. I'm not saying, obviously, Lamar and Jordan are very different, but when voters get fatigued on a guy and vote the other way, to me, awards, whether that's All-Pro, whether that's MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, whatever, are supposed to tell the story of the season. And if Lamar Jackson has 40 touchdowns and four interceptions, and he looks as good as anybody's looked on a football field, A, it's a regular season award, but B, you can't just get too cute because you want to give an award to a guy. I wouldn't be surprised if voters just decide to give it to Josh Allen because they're bored with Lamar Jackson's greatness. That's whatever. I just vehemently disagree, and I don't think voters should look at that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I still don't know if that makes Lamar the winner, but let me ask you kind of more generally on that. How much do you think winning should matter? Because if it's just a numbers game, you could make a strong argument for Joe Burrow. So, how much should winning matter?
Yeah, it's a little bit like the Heisman, right? Where it's like your team has to be good enough, right? Like no one is going to win a Heisman on a 3-9 team, right? And so I think you just have to be good enough. If Joe Burrow doesn't make the playoffs, I think voters won't really entertain that idea. And I understand, listen, the Bengals, even being in playoff position right now with their defense and their special teams, and I think people have really let their special teams off the hook because they've cost them a couple games as well. Everyone talks about the defense. But Joe Burrow has been failed by everybody around him. Heck, his head coach tried to fail him yesterday, and Joe Burrow was able to bail him out. His kicker tried to fail him yesterday. Joe Burrow was able to bail him out. So I think that, he's kind of the people's MVP because we know how great he's been this year and anybody who actually watches the games. But I do think there's an accepted standard that you at least have to be a playoff team, rightly or wrongly. Listen, if I was doing the MVP award, it wouldn't be a quarterback every year. I think there's arguments to be made, I had a lineman on my show last year who said the most valuable player in football for the past few years has been Jason Kelce, because what they're able to do in short yardage and all that stuff. So if I was doing the MVP, it'd be a completely different award. But I also understand by the parameters set up, it's either going to be Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
Nobody was going to give Jason Kelce MVP. What? Who
No,
said that?
I'm just saying, if we're doing most valuable guy, I would open it up to a lot.
It's true. They can't tush push like they used to.
Yeah, but that's
right.
That's never going to win MVP. I mean, that's not.
No, but okay, I'll give you an example, right? So I was talking to a Chiefs guy a couple of months ago, and I said, "Hey, besides Mahomes, who's the Jenga piece where if you take it out, it doesn't work anymore?" And he said, Chris Jones. Because if Chris Jones is not on the field, then Spags can't do all his crazy blitzes. The defense has their ceiling lower, and then Mahomes has scored more than 30 points. So to me, if I was able to open it up to the entire world, Chris Jones would be an MVP candidate. But we just don't have those conversations because we can't, because we just look at quarterback numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be a hard sell, I think, for most people in that situation. Let me make you Vikings GM right now.
Oh, gosh.
Let's say the Vikings make a run to the NFC Championship, lose to Detroit, but Sam Darnold looks incredible. Sam Darnold comes to the Vikings and says, listen, I want to stay. I have other suitors. I need $50 million over 2 years guaranteed if you want me to stay on this team. You've got J.J. McCarthy, who you drafted to be the next guy coming off a season-ending injury. How do you approach that situation if you're in charge of the Vikings?
So I saw that the tag is $40 million.
Yep.
I think you tag and trade. I think that you tag and trade, and you go to J.J. McCarthy. And there's a couple things about this. Number one, Kevin O'Connell is an awesome coach. And I think he's got a top 5 playbook. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in this league. I still think we're not giving this Vikings team enough credit because they just don't have a famous name outside of Justin Jefferson, and there's not enough focus on him. And so, for me, J.J. McCarthy can do a couple of things well. I thought J.J. McCarthy was going to start this year, and I thought he was going to be really good. And then he gets hurt in the preseason, and everything kind of devolves from there. But I would go with McCarthy. He can pass over the middle of the field. He's quick. He's accurate. He does a lot of things well that Kevin O'Connell's going to be able to accentuate. I roll with him. I think that next year J.J. McCarthy can give you a huge percentage of what Sam Darnold's given them this year. And for cheaper, what do you do with J.J. McCarthy if you sign Sam Darnold to a 2-year extension? And what's funny to me is I got in some hot water earlier this year because I said, if you trade Darnold, you don't have a lot of drama. And Vikings fans got mad at me because they thought I was saying Sam Darnold was drama or whatever, was going to be a diva. I didn't mean that. What I meant is if you have a first-round pick on the bench, you're going to have some tension every single time. We just learned this with Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins. When there's a first-round pick, everybody says, oh, it's a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan. No, it's not. It's a 1-week plan because that's how first-round quarterbacks operate. The moment they throw an incompletion, the entire town, especially if there's not enough equity in the locker room, the entire town wants the first-round pick to start. So I think that I don't care. Sam Darnold has a great personality. He's a great locker room guy. J.J. McCarthy sounds like the same way. I don't really know him. But I just think it's easier to roll with one guy, and for me, that'd be J.J. McCarthy.
Kevin Clark, host of This Is Football podcast, Game Day, right as soon as we are done here on ESPN Radio. Kevin, thank you very much for your time, and enjoy your day of maybe mediocre football this afternoon.
Hey, we're gonna sell it. Me, Mike Tannenbaum, Justin Pugh. We're gonna make it seem like it's a Super Bowl, boys.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you. Speaking of selling it, Byron.
Yeah,
I have a live read to do here, and you say you've gotten good at this. Why don't you do it and see if you can sell it?
Okay. Is there music behind it, or
no? It's just a live read. I do it every segment. Okay, you don't get music.
Well,
just
they do music on the other shows when I read it. Okay. Hey, ESPN Plus subscribers. Dude, you can't do that if I'm going to do it.
I mean, you're hey, but let me start again. Sorry.
Don't laugh at me if I'm going to do it. Hey, ESPN.
Can you not just say a normal hey?
You can't ask me to read it and then do that to me, man. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, ESPN Plus subscribers. Get even more of the sports and teams you love. You can now stream 6 months of SiriusXM on us for even more live games and sports talk, music, and podcasts.
You got me choked.
All at your fingertips. Wherever you go. Yeah. Score even more with ESPN Plus and get 6 months of the SiriusXM app today. You just need an active ESPN Plus subscription. Get all the details at espnplus.com/SiriusXM. Eligibility and offer details apply.
You don't know punctuation. I'm sorry, I'm getting choked. ESPN Radio is next.
This is ESPN Radio.
Kimberly A. Martin is here.
Why am I not on this radio show?
You literally are right now.
On your radio, your computer, your smart speaker, or on the ESPN app.
Carlin versus Joe. We're aiming for good.
Carlin versus Joe.
We're everywhere you are. This is ESPN Radio. The college football playoff has arrived. Georgia versus Notre Dame.
There's a different feel to the playoff.
Boise State versus Penn State.
The stakes get much higher.
Oregon versus Ohio State.
There's intensity that gets ratcheted up.
Arizona State versus Texas.
The magic continues.
The college football playoff quarterfinals.
You can feel the electricity.
New Year's Eve and New Year's Day on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
The last Monday Night Football of 2024 is upon us. Jared Goff and the Lions are out for redemption as they head to San Francisco for an NFC Championship rematch.
Who had that on the bingo card? Touchdown Lions!
As Brock Purdy and the 49ers look to make a statement and take down Detroit once again.
He's gone! Touchdown 49ers!
Lions 49ers. Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ABC.
Amber and Ian.
Dan Lanning, head coach of the Ducks, here with us on ESPN Radio. Oregon is undefeated. They're number one, yet they get the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee. People are saying that that's a flaw in this system. How do you feel?
What an opportunity, man. We get a chance to go play some of the best teams in the nation, and it's not supposed to be easy to get to a national championship, but that's the furthest thing from my mind right now. Like, I'm focused on what's next for us.
Amber and Ian, weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. It's bowl season on ESPN Radio. 25 bowl games, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
Touchdown! The electricity, the atmosphere.
Caught at the 5 and into the end zone!
This is why you do what you do.
Bowl season continues tomorrow with the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl. Coverage begins at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN.
It's the beauty of college football.
Central Division rivals clash on ESPN Hockey Night. Dallas.
Definitely a playoff team. There's no question about it.
And its stars.
Duchesne scores! Odger kept it out! Jason Robertson!
Travel to the Windy City to face Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks.
He's the heartbeat of this team.
Bedard with a shot, he scores!
That's hockey. ESPN Hockey Night presented by Expedia. Stars Blackhawks at 8:30 Eastern. Tonight on ESPN.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Evan, aliens or not?
I'm not a big alien guy. I don't believe in aliens.
You think we're the only life force in the entire universe in its vastness?
No, it's not that. It's just I don't know that they're here all of a sudden and they're flying.
They're checking for us.
Yeah, I just love the idea of the aliens being like, let's see what New Jersey's up to.
Right, let's check in on Newark.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Countdown to kickoff here on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. For a job you'll love, visit progressive.com/careers. It is time to pick all the games left in our NFL slate. Now, 6 have already occurred, so we only have 10 left in this for the end of this week. Now, 2 weeks ago, I had a 6-game lead, and it looked like the path to 6 straight championships in the Pick'em contest was headed towards continuing. But Myron has made up 3 games in the last 2 weeks. Now, granted, a week ago it was because someone filled in for him and got one right. But this week he got 2 more. So it is now a 3-game lead. You are in it with a chance here in the week before. You need a big. You cannot fall any further behind this week or it's probably over. So are you ready for a big week?
Yeah, I got to take gambles. Yeah.
You might have to take gambles.
I do.
What's up first?
Take your pick.
You take your pick. It's time to take your pick.
Here we go.
Jets
Taking
and
your
Bills.
Picks. Jets and Bills. You ready to take a gamble on your Aaron Rodgers Jets?
Man, I guess I could kind of gamble here. I won't do it. I mean, they got Josh Allen, who's going for MVP. I'll pick the Bills, even though, the Jets, you're watching maybe the last of Aaron Rodgers, the last 2 games. I'll still go with Buffalo here.
Yeah. I will. I'm going to take Buffalo as well. I thought you were going to pick the Jets. I was going to get very excited if this was your first gamble.
That can't be the gamble.
Aaron Rodgers has no chance on the road, been cold. Old, sad Aaron Rodgers collapsing as a player is fun to watch, so I'm going to take the Bills to win at home. What's next?
Titans at Jaguars.
Now, this is a toss-up. What do you got?
This is very, very interesting for the Titans and Jags, 2 teams that have obviously struggled in different ways. I mean, the Titans' pass defense has been pretty good. The quarterback situation has been questionable, but I am going to gamble here. I would pick the Jags if it was just about who I think's going to win. I got to go with the Titans here because I'm trying to pick up games. I'm picking the Titans.
Wow. So, see, this is a meaningless game in the season.
Yeah.
But it is a meaningful game in the Matt versus Myron because I'm going to take the Jags at home to get the victory. So we have our first departure. He's got the Titans. I got the Jags. What's next?
Packers at Vikings.
Big game. A lot of people here in Minnesota are excited for this one. Green Bay's been one of the hottest teams in the league. Just played their best football down the stretch of the season. A lot of people excited about them. But I think the Vikings are a team that's still underrated. The schedule hasn't been great, but they've been dominant for a long stretch. I think that will continue today. And I think the Vikings win and exit this game with people saying that's a team that can not only maybe beat the Lions in the NFC Championship, they can probably handle the AFC team as well. They'll have a shot if they get to a Super Bowl.
The Vikings are going to win today, but the rest of your comment was nonsense. They're not winning the Super Bowl.
Why was it nonsense?
Any person who thinks the Vikings can win the Super Bowl but the Chiefs can't is on his NyQuil fix. But I will take the Vikings to win today at home against Green Bay. Who's next?
Raiders at Saints.
Man, it's another interesting game. You got a Raiders team that people knock them for winning. It's like, hey, you're trying to get one of these top picks. And a Saints team that has had their struggles as well. I got to gamble it. I think the Saints will win. There aren't a lot of reasons for anyone to pick the Raiders, but I got to move up in the standings, so give me the Raiders to win.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, the Raiders are the favorite in this game.
Are they? I didn't realize that.
The Raiders are a 2-point favorite.
I didn't realize
that. In this game. I'm going to... Who's starting for the Saints? Do they have Rattler or are they playing that other guy?
It'll be Rattler.
It's Rattler. Give me the Saints at home. Actually, you know what? Never mind. Give me the Raiders. Raiders are a better team. Brock Bowers is going to break that record. I switch it. I can't bet on Spencer Rattler. I'll take the Raiders. Who's next?
Colts at Giants.
Man, Colts at Giants. No Anthony Richardson, but will that even matter? Colts got to win to stay in the playoff hunt, and I think they'll approach this game that way. I think Brian Daboll's trying to spoil his team's chances of getting that top pick. But I'll pick the Colts here to win on the road.
Yeah, I got the Colts. Colts have something to play for. Giants don't. That's the difference. I'll take Indianapolis. What's next?
Dolphins at Browns.
Dolphins got to win to stay in it. Cleveland is typically like a tough place to play.
No Tua.
You got Tua.
No Tua.
No Tua, I'm sorry. But again, I got to gamble somewhere. Where else do I pick up a win? I'll pick the Browns. I'm not going to pick it.
All right, good. I'll take the Dolphins. I needed you to pick the Browns there.
The Browns.
I'll take the Dolphins. The Browns have put me down for a few weeks when I've picked them and they haven't happened. Give me the Dolphins to get the win. Thank you very much for that one, Myron. What's next?
Cowboys at Eagles.
Cowboys at Eagles. What's Jalen Hurts' status?
He is out.
He's out, right? So
Kenny Pickett will
you're going to
start.
Kenny Pickett for the Eagles. I think the team is good enough around him for them to still get the win. I'll pick the Eagles here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles, but I love that Cowboys plus 7.5. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? Plus
Kenny
7.5?
Pickett? Yeah, I would take that.
Pickett? I feel like the 7.5 is just asking you to take it, but I will take the Eagles to win the game. What's next?
Falcons at Commanders.
Falcons at Commanders. What do you got?
Man, Sunday Night Football. If the Bucs lose, the Falcons can clinch the NFC South. Michael Penix Jr., but he's going and playing a Washington team that is pretty much a lock for the playoffs. But Jaden Daniels trying to lock up Rookie of the Year. Give me the Falcons to go into Washington and get this win.
You're going to Falcons on the road.
I got to pick up a win somewhere, man. Yeah.
All right, I'll take the Commanders. Another game where we're departing. There's a lot of chances you could make up 3 right there. We could be tied next week when it happens. I'll take the Commanders to win at home. What's next?
Lions at 49ers.
Just so you know, it's 11-2 versus 9-4. I'm 2 games back.
No, you're 2 games back on the week, but you're 3 games back. You won by 2 last week, but I'm ahead 3 on the year. Don't
you
what's
think
this
we
game
only
again?
made 12 picks
Yeah,
all
what's
year?
what's this game again? My bad. What's this game?
Lions at 49ers.
Lions will win. Lions will win that. 49ers are a mess of a franchise right now. A lot of things they got to figure out for their future. Lions win. If the Lions win and the Vikings lose, the Lions clinch the NFC North and the number 1 seed in the playoffs. So it's a big game.
I will take the Lions as well. I think they're trying to finish the season, get the number 1 seed, but also get healthy. That's a delicate balance, but I think they'll get it done this week and get the Lions. All right, so I am 3 games ahead for the year. Give us the 3 games we separated from, Nick, so we can follow them.
I didn't write it down because I had to hit the buttons, but you did Titans, Jaguars.
Yep. Titans, Jaguars. I have the Jags. You have the Titans.
Falcons,
I had
Commanders.
the Commanders.
Falcons, Commanders.
You had the Falcons, and then
Dolphins, Browns.
Dolphins, Browns.
And I had the Dolphins, and you had the Browns. Those are the games that will decide if you even have a chance next week. We could go into next week tied, or I could go up 6, and you would be completely out. And it would.
I got to gamble though. I got to gamble.
You do have to gamble because of your terrible picking to start the season. Myron, thank you very much. Thanks to our guest who kind of helped me get through our, that's just what you do. Sometimes you lift up your weaker teammates, and I was the weaker teammate today. So thank you all very much. And remember, ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. For a job you'll love, visit progressive.com/careers. Kevin Clark, Justin Pugh, Mike Tannenbaum. Sounds like the best boy band in America, and they are next here on Game Day on ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and I just wanted to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday and a happy new year. And a reminder to tune into Unsportsmanlike every weekday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
No days off when you love what you're doing. Sundays are the best day of the week because you're just one day away from First Take returning Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Central Division rivals clash on ESPN Hockey Night. Dallas.
Definitely a playoff team. There's no question about it.
And its stars.
Duchesne scores! 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜 kept it out! Jason!
Travel to the Windy City to face Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks.
He's the heartbeat of this team.
Bedard with a shot, he scores!
That's hockey. ESPN Hockey Night presented by Expedia. Stars Blackhawks at 8:30 Eastern tonight on ESPN.
Grady.
This is one that I really find curious. This doesn't feel like something that an organization of this magnitude does. It feels beneath them.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
You could just watch ESPN, but why not tap in? Tap into all your sports in one spot with the ESPN app. Tap into articles, analysis, and content with ESPN Plus. Tap into who's who and who should be in your lineup with ESPN Fantasy.
What a monster week we saw.
Tap into every, all the, and never miss the
breaking news.
Because once you tap in, you're tapped in. ESPN.
Bam!
The college football playoff has arrived. Georgia versus Notre Dame.
There's a different feel to the playoff.
Boise State versus Penn State.
The stakes get much higher.
Oregon versus Ohio State.
The intensity that gets ratcheted up.
Arizona State versus Texas.
The magic continues.
The college football playoff quarterfinals.
You can feel the electricity.
New Year's Eve and New Year's Day on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Early window underway on Week 17 Sunday. 6 games getting going, a couple with playoff implications. The Colts trying to keep their playoff hopes alive against the Bengals last night with the win. They'll play the Giants today. The Bills can lock up the number 2 seed in the AFC, hosting the 4-11 Jets. Bills hoping to secure home field for 2 playoff games. Josh Allen trying to make another MVP statement. ESPN's Jordan Rodon thinks Allen is the MVP because of the team around him.
Josh Allen's number one weapon is 𝐒𝐤𝐲, okay? Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson is working with Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah like he just has a better supporting cast around him. And when we're talking about 2 guys that I believe are both equal in regards to numbers, their numbers are great. But to me, the differentiator is Josh Allen is doing it with less, where if you take him off his team, they're a worse team.
Rodon on game night. Bills favored by 10 at home on ESPN Bet today. Play-by-play on ESPN Radio affiliates. Elsewhere, Eagles can clinch the NFC East with a win over the Cowboys today. Kenny Pickett will make the start after Jalen Hurts couldn't clear concussion protocol. Philly favored by 7.5 on ESPN Bet. Buccaneers try to keep their playoff hopes afloat at home against the Panthers. They're 10-point favorites. In the NBA, the Lakers dealing D'Angelo Russell, agreeing to trade Russell, Maxwell Lewis, and 3 second-round picks to the Nets for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. Lakers are sending their own second-rounders in 2027 and 2030.
Hey, what's up? Aaron Goldhammer coming up Monday on Sportsmanlike. We are getting closer and closer to the NFL playoffs, but we're going to tell you which contenders we believe in the least. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is Game Day on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Game Day on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. I'm Kevin Clark alongside Justin Hugh. I think Mike Tannenbaum he's here. He's a technical question mark, but we are excited to have him. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Give us a call on the Dr. Pepper call-in line for news from Game Day Nation, 888-729-3776. Be part of Game Day Nation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line. That's 888-729-3776. ESPN Nation is presented by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. Do we have the opening drive? All right, let's roll here.
Let's jump right into it.
The opening drive.
Time for some football, baby!
Let's go to Buffalo.
Jets at Bills.
All right, Justin Q, we got a good one here as far as MVP candidacy goes. Not a good one as far as football. I'm looking at Josh Allen walking onto the field right now. What does he need to do to win the MVP today?
He needs to continue to put this team on his back. He needs another performance like he had 2 weeks ago where he's putting 4 or 5 touchdowns on the board. Look, he is a front runner in this, but Lamar Jackson against the Pittsburgh Steelers and Houston Texans has crept back into this race. If he goes out there and wins the AFC North and does it convincingly, I mean, he has 40 touchdowns and less than 5 interceptions. How do you take the MVP away from him?
Agree. Mike?
Yeah, other side of this game is interesting. Aaron Rodgers went for his 500th career touchdown pass, guys. A lot of speculation that he's going to try to feature Devontae Adams, who caught his 200th and 400th career touchdown passes. So little intrigue on that side of the ball. See if hopefully the Jets can make it competitive, A, and B, does Rodgers set history today?
I'm seeing some beautiful uniforms in Philadelphia.
Cowboys at Eagles.
All right, we got the Kelly Greens out. Even the coaching staff. I'm seeing Vic Fangio with that beautiful old Eagles logo on his chest. Mike, what does Philadelphia need to show here with Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I like Dallas today, guys. I think when I look at these two teams, Cooper Rush is the better quarterback than Kenny Pickett. And, when you have backup quarterbacks playing, a lot of variances could happen. Now, Dallas has really struggled to stop the run, Kevin, so I would take a big Saquon Barkley game today. But this is the sort of game lines to me that unpredictable endings can happen.
Ooh, I don't know about this one. I just think the Philadelphia defensive line is going to get after the Dallas Cowboys today with no CeeDee Lamb. I'm just wondering at which point with Rico Dowdle, it's like, hey, you can't just keep trying to hand it off to him and force a square peg into a round hole. Who do you throw it to at that point? I just think eventually the Philadelphia Eagles, unless they're sleepwalking through this game, are gonna break this game wide open.
All right, let's go to Tampa.
Panthers at Buccaneers.
All right, so Bucs 9.5-point favorites here. If the Buccaneers lose today, the Falcons can clinch the NFC South with a win tonight, Justin.
Yeah, look, I picked the Falcons to win the NFC South, and this was with Kirk Cousins, and now with Michael Penix Jr. He didn't really get a test last week against the New York Giants. I think this Buccaneers team is built for the playoffs. They can run the football. It's not just one running back. You have Bucky Irving. You have Rashad White. The offensive line has been great. Tristan Wirfs is one of those names that should be mentioned up there with like a Trent Williams in terms of how he makes that offense go. Mike Evans is back into the fold. I mean, he's going for his 11th straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Jalen McMillan. I think the Buccaneers did this one handedly, and I think the Buccaneers are better set to make a run in the playoffs. It's just now with that loss last week, can they make up for it?
Mike?
Yeah, I say it's early. I think they're the more desperate team. Carolina's played a lot better. Bryce Young, post-benching guys, has been a greatly improved player. I was shocked that the Buccaneers lost to the Cowboys last week, opened up the door for the Falcons, but you know how the things go in the NFL, guys. Buccaneers hold serve today, and Larry's going on the road against a very good Commander team, and Buccaneers can wake up in the morning back in the driver's seat. So I would think they'll play very well at home today.
Let's do what a lot of Giants fans aren't doing today and go to MetLife Stadium.
Colts at Giants.
All right, so here is the state of play. First of all, Colts are 7.5-point favorites on the road. But here are the playoff scenarios after yesterday's game. The Colts have to win out. The Broncos have to lose out. And then there's a couple of things. I guess the Dolphins and the Bengals have to win out. It's complicated. But the bottom line is, Mike T, the Colts got to win today.
Yeah, this time of year, guys, the more desperate team typically wins. And, you can make an argument, are they better off with Joe Flacco or Anthony Richardson right now? Flacco's sort of like the, steady veteran who has turned the ball over way too many times, guys. But I do like Indy today, and Jonathan Taylor's playing great football as well. Giants haven't won a home game this year. Hopefully they're playing for pride and play hard. But if they lose out, Shedeur Sanders could be in their sights.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Shedeur Sanders yesterday. He he chose the New York Giants cleats and he has the little wherewithal. I think that was a great political move by him in terms of like, hey, even if they aren't considering drafting me, I'm going to get all this buzz and get all this New York media talking about it, put the pressure on them. The Colts, are they a better team? I mean, Anthony Richardson has looked good coming off his benching as well. I know Jonathan Taylor has showed up last week after fumbling into the end zone and maybe costing the Colts that game against the Broncos 2 weeks ago. They get Ryan Kelly back, and he's shown a lot of improvement for that offensive line. I'm nervous for the New York Giants. I'm very nervous of what's going to go on out there in the field. How inspired were they going to play? Yes, you want to go out there and play tough, but do they even have the backups of the backups on the roster? Because they're into the third string at this point.
Meanwhile, Joe Flacco just threw an interception. The Giants have the ball at, I think, their own 4-yard line. So
what's that? Their second, third of the season?
That's
the only interception in the NFC East, guys.
What do we got going on? All right, so let's get to all this. By the way, the Jaguars lead the Titans. We're going to update that in just 1 second. So let's actually right now go to New Orleans.
Raiders at Saints.
All right, Raiders 2-point favorites. Not a lot going on. We can be quick here, Mike. What do you think here?
You don't want to talk a lot about Aiden O'Connell and Spencer Rattler?
It's on my screen. I literally just looked up and just saw one of the worst. Aiden O'Connell throwing the ball about 3 yards behind a receiver. It's the first and last play I'll see from this game today.
Hey, I guess the headline for this is, can the Saints do enough and rebound from that bad loss for Green Bay for Darren Rizzi to have a meaningful shot at the full-time job? So that, to me, is probably the biggest headline coming from this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're looking around, like, can Brock Bowers go out there and continue his pace? I really don't know what else you're watching this game for. I mean, maybe if you're in the fantasy football Super Bowl right now, maybe you're trying to, you have somebody in this game that you're tuning into it for. I think what happened with Darren Rizzi, or with Rizzi, I'm not sure where that falls into the scheme of things. I guess that's if you're a Saints fan, you're trying to see if he'll be the coach of the future.
Yep, and let's go finally to Jacksonville.
Titans at Jaguars.
As I said, it's already 3-0 Jaguars in this one. We're talking about teams kind of limping into the offseason, Justin. Anything to watch for with these two today?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at some of the young rising stars. If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, Brian Thomas Jr., you have to be thrilled with him. And then continuing to see, like, hey, is Mac Jones our backup quarterback of the future? Is the team going to play hard down the stretch? Is Travis Etienne going to be our running back of the future? I know he's had some bumps in the road this year. Tank Bigsby has come in and played well. And then on the other side, I think you're moving away from Will Levis. I don't know if Mason Rudolph is the answer. You have Calvin Ridley, revenge game. Maybe that's something that we can talk about. Calvin Ridley going back to Jacksonville for the first time. So I think you're just having these teams and seeing who's going to fight down the stretch to see who you want to keep on the team in 2025.
Mike?
Yeah, I think that's right. This is a battle of backup quarterbacks between Mason Rudolph and Mac Jones. And Mac Jones, went from being a first-rounder star with New England to, is he a journeyman now? So a lot to play for him. And I agree. Beyond that, there's not a lot of upside to this game. Brian Thomas, who was a big hit in the first round, he's had a great year. But beyond that, not a lot of headlines coming out of these pair of 3-12 teams.
All right. Mike, you alluded to it earlier. We need a sounder in Philadelphia.
Cowboys at Eagles.
All right. Cooper Rush, pick 6. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, 70-yard return, 7-0 Eagles already, Mike.
Yeah, like right on cue as I talked about Cooper Rush playing well. They were actually moving the ball. They were having a good drive. They were at the plus 35-yard line, and Cooper Rush just stared down a slant to Brandon Cooks, and there was a robber in the middle, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Cooper Rush never saw him. Really like a very easy interception.
I don't know how he didn't see him either. He was wide. He was right there.
Yeah. He just never saw him. Easy pick 6, and best start possible for the Eagles. And, again, that's the one thing Cooper Rush can't do. Something that he had been doing pretty well is taking care of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson was just sitting there. Almost looked like he was double covering the inside receiver on the 3-receiver set there to the left. And he never moved. He just stood there the entire time eyeing Cooper Rush, who never took his eyes off of, I don't know if it was Tolbert or if it was Brandon Cooks, and just threw it literally right to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And he had a caravan into the end zone. Him and Cooper DeJean just running untouched into the end zone. That was terrible.
Real quick, there was a huge chunk play in Buffalo down to Keon Coleman down to about the Jets 5, but it was
ago against Toronto. Right on the doorstep and a shot saved by Mashmeyer.
What a chance for Rosenthal. She just sat back, read it, and pounced like a cat on a loose puck and almost had one.
Some good looks for each of these two teams in these first 6 minutes. Mrazova, Teralova shoots and another save with the blocker hand. Schroeder stops her third. Check that, 5 saves already. Make it 6. Oh, they score! Think it was Brianne Jenner, and the visitors strike first.
This game has been in 5th gear since the drop of the puck. And Ottawa converts first by playing the way that they want to play in the offensive zone, and that is make you make mistakes. They got a puck up towards the blue line. What do? Throw it to the front of the net and get some traffic. Pretty safe, pretty simple. Good low shot, gets tipped on the way in. Schroeder really didn't have a chance to do anything with it as that got redirected in front of the net. But love the methodology by Ottawa. Find a shot lane, throw it to the front of the net, and let those in a grease pan go to work.
It's Emily Clark's second goal of the season. The alternate captain from Saskatchewan puts Ottawa on the board first. That's the start they wanted. And New York once again finds themselves down early. Awkward collision there with Jenner. Hobson tries to tip it out. On a break now, Saunier. Saunier on the right side, a beautiful pass in front, collides with the goalie. Oh, it's tipped away by Teralova. Here's Bourbonnais. Shoots it wide. Saunier tries to pick it up. What a beautiful look. We got a broken stick down by the end line. And the shot got past Mashmeyer. It was Teralova who made sure that the puck stayed out.
Oh, Saunier with a nice pass to the front of the net. And Downey Landry didn't miss by much. New York with a real good response to the shift, on the shift, after a goal scored against, which is a huge component, especially early in the game.
Breaking it out is Hughes. New York converges in the neutral zone and gets the puck back. This is Allison Simpson. Throws it over to Zandy Hart. Crosses the logo and gains the zone. Simpson now. She'll try a shot. And it's swallowed up by Mashmeyer.
Emily Clark plays a big game, plays a big role for Ottawa, and she gets them on the board. Up 1-0 early here in New Jersey.
Dearest fans. Dearest fans. Dearest fans.
Where do I start?
There are not enough words, but I will try to express how much you mean to me. You have been with me since my beginning. You've been with me since our first puck drop.
You have given me spine-tingling moments,
Life-changing inspiration.
game-altering endurance.
All above and beyond my wildest dreams.
Your voices have made me believe
What I've always known to be true.
determination delivers greatness.
We are here to stay.
We are here to stay.
We are here to stay. We are here to stay.
We are here to stay.
With you in the stands and by our sides, there is nothing we can't do.
Together, we launch to lead.
Together, we amplify, unify, exemplify dreams for every dreamer across the globe.
Hockey welcomes everyone.
You plus me, all my love. Forever, always.
Seen that Danielle Sardagny has been playing for Ottawa, but she used to play for head coach Greg Fargo for her college team. She said it's weird seeing him on the other bench. He's one of the favorite coaches that she's ever had in her career because of his care and passion that he has for his players, which she says is evident in the way that New York has been successful this year so far. She said it's bittersweet though, but she plans on helping her team with interesting facts about how they do their forecheck.
Great report, Julie. It was a fun conversation with head coach Greg Fargo before the game as well. He said Danielle's a great skater. She sees the ice well. And she said she likes to play with the puck a lot. We talked about how she has a balance between being high skill and also a power forward, Dave. There's a turnover on the doorstep. New York with a chance. Instead, it's back to Rock. Rock throws one in. Maschmeyer gloves it.
Jay Downing-Landry with a really good chance a moment ago as New York comes out of its own zone. Sullivan goes wide. Take a look at Downing-Landry. Comes down off the far post. So what she's doing is giving some room for that pass to come through, giving some room between her and the defender, and then giving her the ability, if she wants, to cut in across the net and drag the goaltender towards the backhand. When you're that winger, the other winger, coming in on a 2-on-1 like that, if you drive off the far post, you give yourself a lot of options. Good fundamental hockey.
New York trying to even the score. Rock now. Backhand tries to throw it in front. We got a delayed penalty here. It'll be against Ottawa. Thrown in by Simpson, touched by Ottawa. And we have our first woman advantage of the afternoon.
And, you know, the first thing we start to do now when a power play is signaled for is you start to look at who's on the ice for the team that's going to be shorthanded, just to see how the beginning of this shorthanded situation is going to go with the new rules. Rock goes wide. There's the hand inside. As soon as that hand goes onto the body of the opposing player and process gets impeded, the referee's arm is going to come halfway up. Ottawa's in good shape here. They got a couple of their high-end players on that are good on the dot and good in their own zone.
Savalainen sitting 2 minutes for hooking. This power play is brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel, paper towels. Power through tough messes.
Ottawa does make a quick change after they lost the draw. Pretty good plan to get it back. To get it back quick and then get out. The key thing on killing a penalty, everybody talks about what's the most important thing about penalty killing. Your goalie's the obvious one. But the other part of it is first face-off win to get a first clear, because it will average about 20 seconds from the time that puck is dropped and won until the time that the other team gets it, gets back in, and gets into structure in the offensive zone.
New York trying to do that. Ottawa on the other end going to take as much time in their own zone as possible on the penalty kill.
The key thing is you're also putting a little wear and tear on the power play team because they've got to go retrieve and come back.
Here comes Carpenter. Carpenter had it poked away. Tries to get it back on the left wing circle. Eldridge does that and swoops to the blue line. Passes to Zandy Hart. Zandy Hart back to Eldridge. Eldridge in front. Saved by Maschmeyer.
Two terrific plays by Markowski. 6 in white. Breaks up the 2-on-1 with a real good stick. And then captures a loose puck on a rebound and a clear off the glass, safe and simple. Really nice.
New York has 5 power play goals this year, scoring on just under a third of their power play chances. Nyland Person tried to keep it in. Refs say that she did, but Ottawa quickly throws it down the length of the ice once again.
Greg Fargo talked about the power play being inconsistent. Remember, they're working without Ella Shelton, who's an elite-level power play specialist on the back end. They've got a lot of talent up front, but Shelton makes a lot of it go as the quarterback.
Bourbonnais does a nice job. blocking it with her leg to keep possession for New York. On the opposite side now, 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜𝐤. Bourbonnais stepping up. Bourbonnais to the point. Nyland Person. Soft throw in front. Deflected by Downey Landry. Behind goal now. This is 𝐤𝐤. Elizabeth 𝐤𝐤 scored her first goal of the season last time out against Minnesota. Bourbonnais wants it back. She gets it. To her right, Nyland Person skating in. Tries to snipe it in the corner. It goes high. Boxes are cleared. We're back to full strength. Snodgrass circles around goal. 𝐒𝐤𝐤 got decked. Quickly gets back up. 𝐒𝐤𝐤 throwing it towards goal, but blocked by Saunier.
You won't say 𝐒𝐤𝐤 gets decked often. Mark that one. She doesn't get knocked over very much.
It's true. She stands ahead above most of the other players on the ice. No shots for New York on the power play.
Really nice job by Ottawa on the interior, forcing New York onto the perimeter where they feel they've spent a little too much time on the power play in their last couple of games.
Ottawa again working it out quickly. 𝐒𝐤𝐄 turns it over. This is Saunier. 𝐒𝐤𝐄 passes to her left. This is 𝐒𝐤𝐤.
Cormier, he'll step out. McGillis runs a tight screen there.
He's been busy in this first period.
You're looking for New York as this play will get whistled out for ice. One thing New York, from a power play perspective, Ottawa came into this game allowing 5 power play goals on 17 opportunities, and they've allowed multi-goal power plays in 3 of their 5 games. I mean, this has been an area where Ottawa has struggled. So if you're in New York and you're looking for an ability to grab a game, especially early, their power play is going to matter as this thing goes along.
Face-off to the left of Schroeder, won by New York. New York's done well with the face-off dot so far today. But Ottawa once again quickly gets the puck back. Aneta Terralova plays catch with her D-line mate. Stepping up now, D'Arcangelo, who came over in a trade from Boston about 6 games into last season. Thrown across and all the way through. Terralova sends it wide. This is Vanishova. Looking up ahead. Levis had it stripped. Vanishova with Terralova as well as Mrazova. 3 players from Czechia who have played on the international stage for head coach Carla McLeod, same head coach of the Ottawa Charge.
D'Arcangelo, small mistake there, trying to get out of her own zone. Wanted efficient exits, but she was at the end of a shift, tried to carry.
Here's Jenner. She shoots, saved by Schroeder. Rebound, thrown in front, and it hit some traffic. A big first save by Schroeder, and a nice job by the New York defenders to step in the way of the rebound trance. Harmon gets smashed. Turned over right in front, shot and another save. Schroeder, she's on her backside, and the puck goes behind goal. Mrazova with a golden opportunity.
One thing New York has to stop doing is throwing these long east-west passes from below their hash marks, trying to get out of their own zone. If you're going to try to get out of your own zone and you're not sure where to go, it's up the wall, off the windshield, and out. Cross ice is never a good thing. You're throwing it into the teeth of the forecheck. And it's happened 3 times for New York so far in this game. They haven't paid for it yet.
Is that a big reason Ottawa's getting the puck back so quickly?
Oh, 100%. They're sitting there in middle ice and just picking off passes and jumping routes.
Markowski down the left side. Throws it in front all the way through. Went across the crease. But Schroeder had her eyes on it. That one through the legs of 𝐤𝐤. Tries to get it by the boards, but Markowski does a nice job to steer it to her teammates. 𝐒𝐤𝐄 at the red line. Archie comes away with it. 𝐒𝐤𝐤 off of a skate. Into the corner it goes. Downey Landry lost an edge. An arm goes up. This might be a trip. Looks like it's going to be another Ottawa penalty. And another chance for New York coming on the power play. Bourbonnais to Downey Landry. Schroeder's off the ice. Downey Landry still with it. Delayed penalty here going against Ottawa. The whistles blow. And New York will be on the power play. When we return, we talk with Carla McLeod. We'll be right back in a moment.
Here's to the bold, the determined. More than athletes, they're icons, warriors, opponents of the status quo. Proving that dreams are realized through dedication and come alive on the ice. This is a call to empower, to unite, and to celebrate the bold in all their glory. It's time to own the ice. Are you ready?
Ketik hapus. Butuh es kopi nih mah. Gas kita jajan. Lu seger gua gas. Ya elah. Wah.
Cimori Yogurt Bites dengan nata de coco di tiap kunyahan. Bikin perut, otak, dan mulut jadi akur.
Welcome back to Prudential Center. Ottawa Charge leading 1-0 over the New York Sirens in the first period. I'm joined now by head coach Carla McLeod for Ottawa. You guys are now back on the penalty kill. What do you want to see from your team?
Yeah, obviously we don't want to be in the penalty box. New York's power play is a potent one, so we got to get through this next couple minutes here. But like our start, like what we're doing, maybe get a good block shot here, try to get a jailbreak.
Thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Julie.
Julie, they certainly have the speed for jailbreaks. I find it interesting, New York taking a face-off on the right dot, which makes it a lot harder for Ottawa to get a quick change and get their PK unit on.
Rock wins the important face-off. There's a no-escape rule this year in the PWHL as the shot comes in backhanded, and it's away by Snodgrass. Glove down at the blue line, but still cleared. That means that the players that were on the ice when the penalty was committed have to be on the ice when the penalty kill starts.
In my opinion, that makes everybody's defensive details more important in practice and in video, and you need to make sure that multi-players can take face-offs and take them well.
Eldridge throws it deep, in front, blocked and high. Fillier with a good look. Puck came in with a lot of speed. Eldridge to Zandy Hart. Finding Fillier, snaps a shot and it's blocked. Nice job by Savalainen to step in front. Rock throws it back to Fillier. Oh, and it's through a stick. Eldridge sends it along to Rock. Rock controls, tosses back to Zandy Hart. Fillier, right wing circle, saved by Maschmeyer. Ottawa killing 2/3 of their penalties after a successful kill earlier. What a pass. Here comes Carpenter. She shoots and it's high and wide.
That chance is all Abby Rock, screaming for Zandy Hart to up the puck quick with Ottawa on a change.
Bourbonnais trying to step through. Eldridge comes away with the puck. New York's had much more time in their offensive zone on this power play, but still nothing to show for it. Bourbonnais down low, finds Downey Landry. Downey Landry to Nyland Person, who gets it back. Bourbonnais bobbing in front, deflected and saved again.
That was a nice slice to good area by Downey Landry, 27 and Teal for that tip.
Jinsey Rose up ahead to Rebecca Leslie. She'll circle back by the boards.
What's interesting with New York's power play, their bumper player, the player in the middle of all five, plays a lot closer to the net than a lot of other power plays you see. So what it does, it creates a double screen in front, which is great for your point players. But on the other hand, it doesn't give the flanks that middle of the ice option to throw it to the bumper and either have the bumper shoot or distribute for a better shot.
This is Markowski. Markowski keeps the puck into the corner. There she runs into Hobson. Ottawa keeping possession though. Markowski gets it back. Tries to swivel away from Hobson, but she's smushed against the boards. 3 shots for New York on their last power play after none on their first chance. Jenner, extra pass, away from Markowski. Less than 2:30 to go in the opening period.
Ottawa's had 2 penalty kills that have generated momentum for them.
Big shot, Bell, loose in front. Schroeder tries to cover up and does. It's all Ottawa in period number 1. Another successful kill. Visitors lead 1-0.
And action.
Athletes just want to play. That's why they're athletes. And this is a great, more games keep coming up. And it's great for the players just to get together, have some laughs, break a little sweat. The officials do it, the players do it, coaches don't do it.
You often see they'll play hacky sack or something similar with the soccer ball. Is there anything specific about the games they're playing that help them get ready or not?
A lot of it is hand-eye coordination. A lot of it's lateral movement. A lot of it's just getting your heart rate up.
I gotta say, I've never seen 6-person spike ball. In my corners, it's usually a 4-person game, but hey.
See, on the other side of it for the coaches, it's 6-person coffee talk.
Ottawa wins the faceoff off the side of the goal by Terralova. Again, shot out of a cannon out of the break. We have just about 2 minutes to go in this first period. With Dave Starman and Julie Stewart-Pinks, I'm David Korzenowski. Thanks for joining us here on the last Sunday of the calendar year 2024. Big turnover. Fillier had it hop over her stick, though. That could have been dangerous.
So I would tell you both coaches will probably make a small point to their group about let's be real careful with these east-west passes in our own zone.
Wraparound chance, Serdachny, and Kareem Schroeder makes the save.
Daniel Serdachny, you just saw a moment ago as she threatens the net on Kareem Schroeder of New York, is one of those players, big, strong, powerful, as you alluded to, a power forward mentality. Hard skill would be a really good way to describe her. I'm telling you, when I was scouting last year at the Women's World Championships, on a shift-by-shift basis, her and 𝐂𝐤𝐤, who's now in Toronto, I felt like every shift of every game I watched, they did something that made you make a note.
Shot by Meixner's blocked. Greg Fargo said earlier she's a perfect mix of high skill and power forward. Do you see that as well, Dave?
I definitely see it. There's no question. I will tell you that one of the things that I think will power Serdachny's game to the next level, just through a scout's eye, she is a bigger body, so she plays with a wider base with her feet. When you watch her play, her feet tend to be outside her shoulders as she braces herself for contact or gets started or has the puck on her stick. If she gets her feet a little tighter together when she's got the puck on her stick or when she's in pursuit, I think it allows that 1-2-3 acceleration step to further enhance the big size she has, because now she's going to get places faster. To me, that's her next step.
Second overall pick in the 2024 draft. You saw some of her accolades a moment before. She was also the first ever All-American in Colgate history since they transitioned to Division I. A fantastic college career under the opposing head coach, Greg Fargo. Bourbonnais had it blocked by Meixner. New York hammering it in, and they keep possession. Eldridge drips to the corner, and Ottawa strips it. 1 minute left in period number 1. Breaking ahead now, Vanishova. Trying to go across to Meixner, and it's tipped away by Bourbonnais. Down deep, Harmon. Stepping forward, Mrazova. Mrazova shrugs off a hit, tries to keep the puck. Eldridge comes away with it, throws it right to Harmon. Harmon backhands it in, and Ottawa goes for a change.
That was a heck of a defensive play by Eldridge. Simpson made a really good read, wrote her check out. Eldridge then read the numbers, jumped in and poked the puck off. Good spacing.
Jenner, a nice pass. Markowski had it blocked. She gets it back, though, and tosses it to the right wing circle. Moving forward now, Bell. Bell still with it. 10 seconds left in the period. Bell drifting forward. She'll shoot, and gloved by Schroeder.
When you watch Ottawa in the offensive zone, especially here in period number 1, a couple things are popping out at you. Number one, a very good possession game by them. They're not just throwing pucks around, they're holding pucks to make better plays, which is one thing that Carla McLeod wants to see them do. The second thing is, I think they're winning a lot of races. They're being above pucks and winning races, which to me has allowed them to play that possession game.
That'll do it for the first 20 minutes. Ottawa is on the board thanks to a goal at 6:15 from Emily Clark, assisted by Brianne Jenner and Katerina Mrazova. Dave, what stood out to you?
I think both teams playing their identity. Ottawa came in with kind of a hard-heavy grind mentality, really good below the goal lines. I think New York you're seeing them with their ability to get out of their own zone to create some rushes with numbers where they can threaten the net and be dangerous. Both goalies solid, and pacing, in my opinion, has been the key to this game. It's been really entertaining.
It's a 1-0 Ottawa lead at the break. We have intermission coverage coming your way when we return. Emily Clark, the go-ahead goal, and the difference in this one. Stay with us. You're watching PWHL Hockey.
Nutrijel Dark Choco. Kaya coklat, kaya serat, kaya manfaat.
Welcome back to the Prudential Center. Ottawa Charge up 1-0 over the New York Sirens after 20 minutes of play. Thanks to Emily Clark. And Emily, before the game, you told me, hopefully I get to score a goal so that we can chat at some point during this game. You were playing with Brianne Jenner for the first time on that line. What was maybe working about you guys out there?
Oh, I think just being excited to play. We've had a couple good practices coming off the break, but Maraska and Jenner are such incredible players and playmakers, so I think for me it just allows me to work hard to get open, and I know they're going to find me and off my shin pad and in, I guess.
Now, not only are you facing this New York team that's so strong, but you guys also had 2 penalties to kill off there. What did you like about how you could stifle their offense?
Yeah, I think just our composure on the PK. Obviously, they have a really talented roster, especially their power play, and I feel like we handled it with composure and patience, and our PK did a great job keeping us in the game in the first.
40 minutes left, and your head coach, Carla McLeod, said that the message was go compete. What does that look like?
I think it's just, it's easy. Just compete. You got to be hard on every puck, try to do your best to win every battle, and I feel like that's why we were successful that period. We were hounding pucks, and we're going to keep that up for the next 2 periods.
Thanks so much, Emily.
Thanks, Julia.
Are rocking around the league, especially Ottawa's Danielle Serdachny with 4 points in 5 games. We'll tell you her story next.
We want to make sure that this is not only a hard place to play, but a destination for everyone to come and see some great hockey. So, again, we're excited. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing everybody Wednesday night and beyond at home. Thanks a lot.
Knowing that the fans who come to the Prudential and support us are just ready to rock and ready to cheer us on, it's really special for us.
Some New York fans in attendance as they look to see the Sirens try to even things up against the Ottawa Charge, who are currently leading 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. And for the Ottawa Charge, 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜𝐤 has had such a great start to the season. And she told me one of the reasons is because she's been reunited with one of her best friends, Stephanie Markowski. They've known each other since they were very young in preschool, and then they became best friends in grade 7. They've been roommates when they were in high school, and of course, they're playing for the same professional team right now. 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜 has an incredible story, and here's more about it.
Looking at videos of me learning how to skate and playing my first year of hockey, it's something I obviously dreamed of.
Go get her, 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜! Go get her! Go! Hard! Come on, 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜! Hurry! Hard!
22 goals and 39 assists at Colgate this past season, where she would finish her illustrious career.
Second overall pick in the 2024 NCAA draft, Ottawa selects 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐜.
When I heard my name being called, I was super excited, and it's something I'll remember for the rest of my life, and looking forward to joining the Ottawa organization. I have a lot of emotions for my first professional game here. A lot of excitement, a bit of nerves. Definitely something I've dreamed of growing up and really looking forward to. Playing in front of an almost sold-out building on the road is something I'm definitely looking forward to. It almost doesn't really seem real yet, but I'm sure when I'm on the ice for warm-up and for that first shift, it'll definitely start to hit me what's really going on.
The Ottawa Charge, a team igniting a new era of the game. Now a control sends it on net. Back 5 on.
Coach Greg Fargo.
Here's to the bold, the determined, the ones who lace up their skates and put on the mask. More than athletes, they're icons, warriors, opponents of the status quo. They skate with grit and grace, shoot with purpose, and compete with heart. They embrace the ice, where every earned drop of sweat tells a story, a badge of honor from every challenge conquered. Proving that dreams are realized through dedication and come alive on the ice. This is a call to empower, to unite, and to celebrate the bold in all their glory. It's time to own the ice. Are you ready?
Ketik hapus. Butuh es kopi nih mah. Gas kita jajan. Lu seger gua agar. Ya elah. Wah.
𝐂𝐤𝐢𝐜 Yogurt Bites bikin perut, otak, dan mulut jadi akur.
Aku nih, apa jual sini aja ya? Si ginjal.
Langganan di FitHub bisa kok pakai SPayLater.
Di periode 18 November sampai dengan 31 Desember, bayar kris pakai SPayLater ada diskon sampai dengan 500.000. Dan bebas biaya penanganan. Bayar dimanapun bisa pakai SPayLater.
The PWHL Takeover Tour starts its journey January 5th at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. As Hilary Knight and the Boston Fleet take on Captain Clutch Marie-Philippe Poulet and the Montreal Victoire. Don't miss hockey's biggest tour of the year. Tickets available now at thepwhl.com.
Man, that will be so much fun. The Takeover Tour will feature 9 cities across the U.S. and Canada. Will start in the PNW, the Pacific Northwest, in Seattle, Washington. That'll be a lot of fun.
Schedule reminds me when I used to go follow the Grateful Dead around.
Vancouver, British Columbia, up after that. Welcome inside and upstairs here at the Prudential Center. Pretty good game on hand with Dave Starman. I'm David 𝐂𝐤𝐤. And Dave, 1-0 charge thanks to Emily Clark's goal. Both goalies really showed up big, something I know you like to see.
Oh, absolutely. I thought both goalies were great in that period, and both of them are very different. Mashmeyer's a little smaller, a little bit more of an acrobat. Schroeder a little bigger, a little bit more of a technician, but I think they both played as advertised. The bottom line was neither team got a lot of second kicks of the can, so both goaltenders doing a really nice job with their rebound control.
Yeah, and it was Ottawa who had a lot of ozone possession and shots first. Corinne Schroeder had to be on her A game from the jump.
The number one job of your goalie early on in the game is hold the fort down and let them get their skates underneath them. And I thought that's what Schroeder did really well, because Ottawa, for the first 6 minutes of the game, really took it over. And you could see the efficiency of Schroeder in terms of not laying a lot of loose change around the net. Mashmeyer plays a little bit more aggressive depth, a little bit more on top of the crease, uses her athleticism and her acrobatics really, really well. But she's also got a technical component to her game as well, and is really good getting off the posts.
Shots on goal, 12-11. New York had 2 chances on the power play, and pretty good sign for Ottawa's penalty kill. They look strong.
They look great. I thought both of their penalty kills were momentum builders for them. They were concise, they were cohesive, they blocked a ton of shots. They did not give New York the interior. New York's power play, very much a perimeter power play for both of their chances.
We'll take a look at the one score. It came at 6:15 from Emily Clark, her second goal of the season. This was kind of an odd goal. It came in from the right side, and then Clark was in the right place on the left post.
Look at Clark, head up. She's looking like she's going to drive towards the far side, trying to keep creating, and as soon as it left to the net, to the lane to the net, there we go, opened up, she threw the puck to the front of the net. Clark got a stick on it.
Fans are excited. It was a fast-paced first period too, Dave. I felt like that was something that stood out. Both teams going back and forth, and not a lot of whistles in the first.
No, I think we brought it up during period number 1. This game was in 5th gear early. It stayed there. Second period tend to have a little bit of a drop-off, so we'll see the structure component, I think, a little bit more in period 2 than we did in period 1.
These two teams will get going in just a minute here for the start of period number 2. They're making their way out of the locker rooms now. And fans on hand here at the Rock are enjoying the game. It's the 3rd game of a homestand for New York. Ottawa on the other side, they're in the midst of a 5-game road trip. They will be back here in Newark next week as well for a matchup on January 7th. We now send it down to the 3rd member of our team, Julie Stewart-Binks, who just caught up with New York's head coach, Greg Fargo.
Yeah, guys, well, the message from Greg Fargo was that they really need to get back to playing at their game, which is being first to pucks, being physical, being hard to play in their defensive zone. He said we need to communicate better, and we need to have fun, and they feel as though they're confident that that can happen.
Yeah, he says that he wants the team to be a puck possession group. It was Ottawa who had most of the possession in the first period, and according to Dave Starman and Sportlogic, Ottawa owns the puck more than any other team in the PWHL. Let's take a look at the standings as we're about 5-6 games in. Minnesota still top of the table with those 3 regulation wins.
And by the way, if you're asking why is Ottawa on such a long road trip, those of you in Ottawa certainly know, because you are enjoying perhaps the greatest tournament on earth. The World Junior Championships are being played in Ottawa in both buildings. Started December 26th. It'll finish January 5th with the gold and bronze medal games. And it is the future of the NHL on display in that tournament. there's been a lot of talk about creating a Women's World Junior Championships. I think it's a great idea.